Welcome everybody to Beginning Google Classroom for our first annual NMDELT virtual conference. If you will please, before we get started, I'm going to bring up our sign-in page. If you will please go to this URL and sign in for the Beginning Google Classroom session. It will only take you a few seconds. Our presenter today will be Terry Gustafson, and she will talk about how to set up and use Google Classroom as a beginner. So again, I'll just give you a few more seconds to sign in for this session. Okay. And with that, I'm going to allow Terry to share her screen. And Terry, you can start.
Well, good afternoon. How are you doing? Let's make sure our sound is working. And we're going to go outside of slides and everything today. We're going to try something live. And are we seeing my screen right now? It's still cascading. Welcome. Thank you for coming back and joining one of our sessions again. Let me get out of this and go to the Google. So today we're just going to try to see how easy it is to actually build yourself a classroom in Google Classroom. It's Beginning Classroom, but they say it only takes 5 minutes to set one up, so it should be easy. You shouldn't need to have an IT with you, or it shouldn't take up a lot of your time to actually use Google Classroom in your classroom. Once you get around it, I'm sure you're going to love it. So the first thing we need to do is have an NMDELT account in order to get access to the Google Classroom and all the apps that come with it. So how do we get a NMDELT account? Well, most of you should know by now that you get an NMDELT account through your friendly nmdelt.org website. So I'm going to take you right there and show you where it is. Remember that name, nmdelt.org. And there it is. So this is our website. It's open to any ABE teacher, and it's getting better every day. We're adding more and more stuff. We're going to have a little session at the end of our virtual conference where we're going to discuss all the resources involved in here. So we want to get some access to Google Classroom. So we need to request an NMDELT account. So if you look on the left at the most popular NMDELT links, you'll see request NMDELT. Click that. And it's going to ask you for a little bit of information in this form. And usually if it clears, you're going to have your NMDELT account within 24 or 48 hours. So that's how you get your account. Another thing you probably need to do is to make sure that you have the latest Google Chrome browser. So usually you can download that for free just by doing a search. Google Chrome browser. Even if you're in Internet Explorer, you can do this. And it'll bring you up to updated to the newest version. It will check which version you do have if you already do have a Google Chrome. So Google Chrome update will get you there. So we can have all the bases covered. So just type that in. It's probably usually the first thing that will come up in your search. You don't want to click anything that says add, but you come down here. And this works the same. If you're going to be using a mobile phone, you'd want to have the latest updated Google Chrome. Okay, so I am all signed in already. You must be signed in under your NMDELT account in order to have access to all these wonderful and great apps. So I'm going to open a plain old tab here so we don't have as many open out of the NMDELT one. So that's a real handy tip for you. When you would open another tab, just click that little empty bar next to it and keep the others open. So the easiest way, if you do have an NMDELT account, is sometimes you'll see this little hamburger looking thing with the 3 dots, and it would be in there, the app already. So if we look through here, we can see all the wonderful apps that you get with NMDELT. click more, and you should be able to see your classroom in there. And of course, mine is not in there. So what I did is I went to the Chrome Web Store and I downloaded an app for this. So that's why my apps are way up here. If all else fails, you can just type in, I believe, google.classroom, and it'll take you there also, as long as you're logged in. So you see this? This is the little icon for Classroom. So once we get there, we're going to click our little Classroom icon. Now, if you're brand new, you won't be seeing all of these classes in here. There's a lot of classes I put in here to practice and before I went public with them. So your first class, you won't see anything in here. You'll be creating your first class. Okay, so if you ever need to go back to classes, if you have more than one like I do, you always can hit the home. So it shows your list of classes here. So where do you think that we would start this class? What about the plus? Seems an obvious choice. So when you want to start a class and begin one, you start by clicking add. So, there's two things you can do. You can either create your own class or you can join another person's class. Sometimes we'll have teachers invite us so we can collaborate together on one class, and I'll show you that feature a little bit later. So you want to create your first class. And if you're out there right now, I'd say go ahead and turn on that computer and follow along and have your own class created by the time this session is done. So it's like magic. Create class. Just click that. So what is your class? You need a name for your class. This is where you're going to put your name in. If you have an actual room number, you'll put your room number in here in the description. They have section instead. So you can put anything you want, and don't worry, once you create it, you can go back and edit it. So for the sake of being brand new, I'm going to create an imaginary class. So we'll call this virtual, after our first virtual conference, virtual Vinnie's it's giving me something up here. Hang on. All kinds of E's here. And the more specific you are and the more unique, the better it's going to be anyway. So here I would have put section. Maybe you want to put your room number. So Barnyard 3. That's where his class takes place. And here, I can't see it too well, but some more information. It's not required to put any of this information except your name. And you're going to click that big blue button that says create. And good things come to those who wait. There it is. Look at that. Virtual Vinnie's Vet class. So usually the first thing I want to do when I like start a new class is like personalize it a little. So Virtual Vinnie would not have that background, I don't think, in his class. It's too bright and too red. And so there's different ways that we can actually personalize this. One way is to select a theme that's already there. And they're adding more and more, I've noticed. So we have a jelly bean theme here. We have some sort of fiber optics. If you're into basketball, we have a hoop here. There's a guitar player. So you can scroll down and choose one of these. And there's a kind of a look. That wouldn't go for Vinnie, the pencils. So let's see if there's anything in here that would be good for Vinnie. I'm not sure if Vinnie does frogs, but there's a frog. And if you didn't like the choices in here, ooh, what is that? We're just going to click one so I can show you how it appears in the classroom. That looks kind of good. Looks like a lab. So I would click one of these and then select class theme, and it would put it in there. That looks better than the last one, but maybe Vinnie has a photo of some of his creatures that he works with. So he can also upload a photo. Now you can upload one from your drive. You can upload one from your desktop. You can search for one on the web. So you would go to Google Images maybe to search for one. So I'm going to open a new tab. We're going to find an animal or something to put in there. You want to make it as personal as they want to be able to like bond with the students and have them see you, especially if you're in a distance learning environment. There's different ways to bond with people now because they don't see you. So they have to be able to somehow connect with you. So Google Images is a perfect place for you to find images. And I'm just going to search vet animals. And it doesn't have to be this complicated. You can just get a theme if you want that's already pre-made. Oh, look at the one. Oh, how cute are they? So that's a lot of farm animals there. And there's Vinny's girlfriend maybe there. So we're going to just pick one of these farm animal things. Cows are cool. Right up here. And I'm going to double click it. Now, I usually want to save this to my desktop. So I'm going to put save as. Save image as. And I'm just going to put it right on my desktop so it's easy to find. Now I'm going to go back to my classroom. And that's what's nice. You can put a lot of pictures in here that are yours. Or so let's do select a photo from my computer and find my photo. Am I in desktop yet? All right, there it is. It's called Big Stock Group of Farm Animals, Moo. Double click it. Okay, there is a little bit of a limitation as to how many pixels wide and how many pixels tall it should be. If you don't know anything like that, when you do your search in the images, you can select that option to have it a certain size. Or you can go back to your desktop and you could just edit what you have. So since we have little time, I'm going to go ahead and pick a theme. And that one looks good enough. Okay, so we have our classroom. We have our little picture there. What do we do next? Well, probably want to put some lessons or something in there. So we have the stream, we have students, and we have about. So that's pretty self-explanatory. The about is about you. It's about things that you use regularly, like maybe a multiplication chart if you're a math teacher. It's a worksheet that the students maybe are supposed to have all the time or that they access a lot. Students. If you click that's where our list of students is going to come in, and that's how we're going to invite them. And then we'll have stream. Stream is the stream of lessons that you'll be putting in here. So each of these can be put in as a link. And if we click the plus here, we can create an announcement, which would be this one. We can create an assignment for students. We can just ask them a question, or we can reuse a post from another teacher's class stream, which is really nice when you're collaborating. So if I wanted to invite a teacher, I would do it through the students and we could work on it both together. So right here's a button that says invite students. If I wanted to invite Jamie to collaborate, that means she could edit and she could put things in there too. I would invite her as a teacher. But we're going to come back to this because I want to start in the about section here. So you want to make sure you connect with students. So you want to have something in there about yourself so that they can connect with you early on. A picture, maybe some pictures of your family and you, or where you came from, what your degrees are about. So how would we do this? This stuff we would fill in as a description of the room. But if we wanted to add some class materials, and this might be something you use regularly, instructor expectations, things like that, you would click on this first thing, and we can add much more than one. We can add many, and we would call it maybe. It's nice to have a biography of yourself, so I might want to tell them all about myself and where I came from. So we just type it in there. Now, what's nice is you can add all kinds of things into here. Maybe you don't want them seeing your family, so maybe you want to just show me your favorite video. So there's an option here where we could add a video. We could get something from our drive, our Google Drive. We could add an attachment maybe that we used in a previous classroom, or we could put a link there. So what I'm going to do is I have my biography. It's on my desktop in another place, but maybe there's a link to a favorite movie that I like. So these 4 things: attachment, that's picking up something from your drive. That's getting they only take YouTubes, by the way. And this is a link to something. So I'm just going off the top of my head. I'm going to put a YouTube in. So there's this YouTube. It's one of my favorites. It's about talking dog. And it makes me laugh. So I'd want to share it maybe with the students. There. Oh, this is so cute, this one. So it's very easy to put a YouTube in there. This is the one I wanted. So I would select that and add. And I think it's always good to have something funny and happy the first time somebody visits your site. So we would bring that in. I could add some text here if I wanted to. I want to show you each of these features though, and I would post it. Now, since we don't have any students yet, nobody is seeing this until I invite them. Maybe I want to put my syllabus in here because it's one of those things I want them to have all the time or be able to refer to all the time. So maybe I have a syllabus in my drive. I'm going to add some more class material here. Label it syllabus. Maybe you have a website that you put resources on that you want the students to have. And I'm going to find this in my drive. So I would go to my drive. And then I would pick up that syllabus from within here. You might have your syllabus on your desktop. That's okay. You can pick it up from there, but it would be more like a link. So I would find a syllabus here. Okay, so I don't have a syllabus right away, but that's what you do. What I like to do now is kind of show you a class where some of the stuff has been put in. But first, okay, we have this all set up. So this is mainly stuff that you would have, you know, the students regularly have in their notebook. So syllabus, instructor expectations. What I might want to put in here is instructions how to get to whatever programs we're working in and how to log into them. So it would be handy reference. The stream part is where you're going to put like the daily assignments. So it's to keep it simple is the best thing you could do. Maybe you want to start using Classroom just as a supplemental thing, and you want them to do some homework. So this is where you would put it in the class stream. So you can start small, you can start simple. We would click the add. And if you had a cool assignment, it's always easier to place it in your drive first. Let's make an assignment. Okay, but assignment for Virtual Vinny's vet class. So we're going to call this fraction. Okay. And then you can put instructions here. Please open the document, because I have this in a document actually. And follow instructions. You can get more detail, but for sake of time, I'm putting that here. Do you want to include a due date? Is your class continuously being added to, or the students coming consistently? You might want to leave this open if they are, so that they don't miss the due date if they come in late. You can start creating your assessments or assignments under topics. So you can create like topics, whether you want a subject like math, or create topics for the week. So have a weekly assignment and then the second week assignment. So whatever it is, you're going to put that here, whether you want them to have a date or not. So I'm going to grab this out of my drive. I have some fraction work in here I wanted to use right here. And you just need to double click it. And it's in there. And you can add other things to this. You can add a video for an introduction. Over here, you have a couple options. Students can view the file. they can edit the file. You want to be real careful with this, because something like the copy I have here, you don't want them really fooling with the program part of it. So you don't want them to mess it up, but it's okay if they have their own copy. As long as you have your master copy, they're not messing up. And here, make a copy for each student. Maybe you want something that's printable that they can take home. So we're going to say make a copy for each student, and we are going to assign. And if we weren't ready to assign, we could just save this as a draft, and then we could unload the classroom when we were ready. Or we could schedule the assignments. Say this assignment I want you to start doing next week. You put a date. So assign. So one more thing here with the tabs is students. Okay, it's really, really easy to add students. Go ahead and click the tab. If they are in the same domain, and they would be if they were NMDELT students, they would automatically be easy to find. So I could just type in my search. Let's say I'm trying to get a hold of Christina. I know her first name. If she's part of NMDELT, she's going to come up automatically. So Christina. And so it's going to search all the Christinas in NMDELT. And let's say I wanted to do this one. This is actually one of my students, so I'm doing her. And I would invite them. So in their NMDELT email, they would get an invite, and they wouldn't show up in here until they accepted your invite. Another way to add students is this class code. So if they had this class code and they had access to the Google Classroom, they would just need to enter this when they got into the Classroom app. This allows you to have the option of allowing students to comment to each other. Sometimes you don't want them to. Sometimes you want them to talk together so they can collaborate. So that's important. So let me show you one that's up and running. I think we covered basics, and if you followed with me, you should have like a basic skeleton of a class. You can't break it. You can't do anything wrong. So I would suggest just get on there and throw your favorite stuff on there, your resources. It's the one amazing thing about this. It's all no paper. I don't know about anybody else, but I cannot stand carrying stacks of paper. I have finger cuts all over the place from paper cuts, and I was just a mess. So now this is a paperless environment. So let me show you one of the real classes and how it works when the students kind of get back to us. I have begun a class here. Okay, I haven't made this live yet, but I took some fancy looking math background here, and I labeled it according to the site. And one interesting assessment or assignment you might want to do is just to start off with some trivia questions. So what we did here, this is actually from Kristen, is she came up with this idea to start, a trivia question every day. It keeps them learning. She has done her topics here. After you start getting organized, you start organizing these better. So she has topics here as far as, the different subjects that we need to teach, definite requirements for all here, science, social studies, and of course our career related stuff. And if you notice here, now that you're a teacher, you've invited students, if students have completed this assignment, we will get a 1 here for one student. If 10 students completed it, we get 10. If none of them had completed, you'll get this. And you can click on these and you can actually see that they're still working on it. If they're working on it, you can return assignments. I like sending assignments back because a lot of them don't really do enough of the assignment. They think it takes a little while, so they're not reading the instructions clear. So the thing is with the assignment, once they take it, it belongs to them. When they ship the doc back, then it becomes your property. And after you return it back, it's back to their property. And you see this big button, this return button here. And I thought we had some more students actually doing this assignment, but we'll go back again. So it shows your student answers. There's another trivia question. When you do add an assignment, it comes to the top. So that was a previous one. That's the newest on the top. Here's a blank Kahoot survey I plan on putting in. I have a computer skills survey to check how computer savvy people are. And we have a little syllabus quiz here required for all students, especially when they first enter. They have to read the syllabus and they will get a quiz because that's the roadmap to their whole classroom there. And we have a form we used that we did. I don't know if you were there for Cash's session, but he was showing you basically how to create a form. And that's where we could get this forms, and has everything you need in Google Apps here. In the About page, I put a couple fun things. And if those of you missed the session I did with Don in the Career Ready 101, I had a little special treat here. I put a Jeopardy slide in there. I might want to put the different sites that we go to and the links, because it's all in one place. Then they have no trouble getting to Ed Ready. They would have no trouble getting anywhere. So for your entertainment, I'm going to play this and then show you another classroom. What time? Okay.
Our apologies. It looks like we're having issues with the sound. Although we hope you enjoy our funny little video as you see it, even without sound.
Can you hear me now?
No.
You have to have them both in, I guess. Okay, we're back. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
And you can't hear that. Okay, we have plenty of other things to show you. Within the classroom, there's quite a few classrooms I can give you examples of. My advice to you is, of course, to start small. Throw something in there that you use a lot, that you find funny, a YouTube. Put some documents with it to ask questions where they have to pause and stop during the YouTube. So let's go back to my classroom. And once you have this account, which is really cool, is you can go to the web store, and there's tons of things that we can do with our Google Classroom in there. This is constantly being updated. There's more and more stuff. It's fun stuff. So if we were to look at apps, most of them are going to be able to work with Google Classroom. We have categories here. We can search under education, academic resources. If you're an ESL teacher, they have wonderful things for foreign language. So just to give you an example, look at all these activities, academics. So they range from, kindergarten all the way up. Some might look familiar to you, like Quizlet. And so that's why you see all those apps when I click my app thing up here, because I have downloaded a bunch of them. And if you have access to the NM Delta account, you can download those too. Here's one of my favorites, Padlet. And we'll open this up. If they were coming from Google, they're easy to put in your classroom. So in this case, Padlet, it offers you kind of a whiteboard where students can put responses and leave things. They also have the Google Hangout app. Google Hangout is a great way to communicate with your students, to be there when they have a problem and to have a solution for them. So how do I use Hangouts in classroom? I have found this. Oops, I'm very sorry. And I'm back to the hiding here. Okay, one of the ways we use Google Classrooms. If you have an NM Delta account and you open up your NM Delta email, you'll see on the left where it has the Google Hangouts. You can also download an extension. So if I needed to search anybody with an NM Delta account, I would just click my name, well, not that name, and add them. Oops. So your students, you can group them all together in one group. And when you send out an email, they get the message at the same time. If you are teaching a blended learning class and you're on a program like EdReady, if your students have any problems, they all seem to know their phone very well. They can send you a picture of the screen even. And the Hangouts, you can solve the problem right away. So they don't start doing things that they don't know, or they get past themselves. So I'll go back up to Classroom and show you some of my nifty apps if they open. Okay, down here, we had done an intro to Google Classroom, but that was the ESL one. We had put some things in that were really cool. Let's check out this one. The work in progress. So you see how all this is shared with all of these students or teachers, actually. We have different things for topics. We kind of were sharing this one and checking different things out. So I have added that fraction thing in here. We had a test for hippocampus. That comes along with our EdReady part of NROC. And if you haven't seen this site, it's a very neat site. Maybe you want to talk about real math. So I have a real math video in here. You're not going to be able to hear it, so I'm not going to play it. I forgot. And it's really important to understand your students and their skills and make sure that they're a good candidate for working online and a good candidate for blended learning. So I used a lot of online assessments for this. If you were with me in my last session, we did EdTed. So I easily added the EdTed lesson here, and I would maybe add another doc with it so that they get all kinds of modalities when they're doing their assignments. You want to give a bunch of variety in order to assess them correctly. All right, let's check out another one. And it's good to get in a group and help each other. I probably have archived them. Google Apps and Extensions. Here we go. Here is a discussion rubric. So students know what to expect on their grades and what I'm going to be grading them on. This is a module I was trying to create for them to respond to each other. So as far as their netiquette would go, this is how it's always good to put what your rubric is about and what you're going to grade them on. So I have discussion, critical reflection, how much they participate, and what their quality of writing is like. Can you understand their writing? Going back. So these all can be placed in your docs. It works with docs, works with Drive. They all work together. So this is a module for classroom discussion. This is a nice thing. This is the collage app I was showing you later. You want your students to connect. So if you have all your students kind of send you a picture, this is a neat little free app that puts all their pictures together in one shape and like a collage. So here it comes up, it groups all my pictures together. Maybe I want to change the pictures to be shaped like a bear or something. So this is where I do it. This is free to upload. It's called Loop Collage. And that was very simple to do. This is the Padlet I was telling you about. Padlet is a good introductory kind of assignment because it's a good, you can get to know each other very well. So kind of offers that interactive whiteboard thing where students go in here and they introduce themselves. Maybe a student is shy and they want to just show a favorite video. They don't want to talk about themselves. So it has the option where you can add a picture. Maybe you put a picture, you can put text in there. Maybe you can sing and you want to just sing something, or a video cam and you want to just tape it. So it gives these options. So students would double click here and maybe just write their name. Hi, I'm Mary. And there's different backgrounds for this. As far as this, what you're seeing, I have a space type thing. You can choose from different backgrounds, but it makes it very collaborative because they introduce themselves through here. All right, so Larry's here, Gabe's here, Miguel's here. There's lots of fun, simple things to use out there. I'm not sure if we had anything in our about here. Probably because we're all about everybody here. And so throw things in there. This was a wonderful program called Zaption. You could take any YouTube, and I think they have replacements for this now too. Take any YouTube and insert questions inside the YouTube so you can kind of make sure that they're understanding as they go along. And I see that Zaption has been acquired by Workday. Now, this will happen a lot because they get better and newer things. So don't worry if something is missing. They'll always have something to replace it usually. There's my TED Ed Talks. This is a zombie riddle. Also a good opening activity. And zombies are very popular now. If you get a chance, check out this site. It's very good. So this is about zombies crossing a river, and I don't think you can hear it, but that's okay. You go in there and you can customize these questions yourself. Think. And this has great analytics as far as it'll tell you if the student came in. So here is the question that is already there, and you can edit this question if you want to. This is a great idea for like homework assignments. You come back and discuss what your solution was. We have a Pear Deck thing. Something called Powtoons. You create your own little cartoon in there. And here's my first creation. And you're probably not, you can't hear it, but it says, "You're with Terry. You're going to flip this webinar." Brought to you by Powtoons. And it actually has audio with that. So that's very fun and easy to use. Yeah. It's called Powtoons. It's also free and available through the apps. Oops. So just throw some fun things in there. You want to make sure the students are engaged, and you allow them to also throw some fun things in there. Have them do some video answers. Have them do all kinds of things like that that are different. And here's my beginning fractions. This was actually a Google drawing where you could represent certain fractions by moving the colors around. Another hippocampus. And that is about it, I believe. So get in there, create a classroom, personalize it, add some students, and check it out. And do we have any questions?
Actually, Nancy is wondering if we could put some PowerPoint onto an assignment. She has a PowerPoint that has YouTube links embedded, and she wants to know if she can upload it into an assignment.
You would upload it into, probably put it into slides first and then upload it into your assignment. It might be better formatted that way. So there is a way to upload all your PowerPoints into slides. I believe it would work, even if it was just kept a PowerPoint though. It's very nice to have slides because you can put links inside the slides even. You can put discussion questions. So they always recommend to do a lot in slides. And students, if you allow them to post, they can post different solutions on different things. Like maybe they have a whiteboard and you're doing a math problem in class, and each of them will have their whiteboard and they'll take a picture of their whiteboard, the answer they got. And it doesn't have to be like everybody else is seeing it. So it's easier, you know, because they know they're being not seen by anybody but the teacher. I hope that answered your question. The slides are that they're coming out with, they're adding more and more features to that. So all of these things collaborate well together.
Thank you, Terry. That is all the questions.
Well, I'm very happy that everybody came to join us on our first virtual assignment. And if I can, do we have a couple minutes left? We're going to see if I can get my little jib jab thing going. Or maybe I'll send the link to Jamie and she can get it going. So I'm going to get out of the classroom right now. I'm still showing you my screen here. And I'm going to close some of this.
Send me the link.
Okay. So let's send her the link. And so you'll find yourself, it's almost like being able to decorate your house, having a classroom and putting yourself into it. You find I sent it to. I'm searching for this. If you ever have a bunch of mail and you need to search for something. messages. We're still here. I'm going to look at my recent folder. There it is. Okay, I'm going to send this to Jamie. All right, so this is how we share some of these docs. Whoops.
There we go.
There we go. Should I mute? I should mute, right? I am going to stop sharing so we can hand it over to Jamie.
All right, and if you give me just a second, I will look in my drive.
And let me remind you that the sessions, all the sessions today have been recorded if you missed any of them. Where is it? Oh, I thought I did that one. Excuse me a minute. Sorry about the bell. What is this? What is it doing?
Okay, let's see if we can play this video with some sound. Well, I hope everybody was able to hear that. Sorry about that. We got multiple devices on at the same time. But that really is it. Hope you guys enjoyed this session on Google Classroom. Again, I'll remind you that all sessions will be automatically archived onto our website. So if you do miss any sessions, you will be able to access them. Once you click on the link from our website, you'll be able to watch the videos after the fact. Thank you guys so much, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.